Comics fans? It's your boy Knew Better Do Better. Back at it again. I know it's far and few in between since we've been having episodes, but me and Kali both have been very, very, very busy. So please forgive us, but we are ready to put out more episodes, more content for you. I know you like my background. You see my boy behind me? Do you see who that is? The one, the only, Sauron, Gorthau the Cruel, the Dark Lord of Middle Earth himself. But enough about my friend. Let's get into what we came to talk about today, and that is MCJ. My boy Movie Comic Junkie is going to be a guest on our show. Kali, can you introduce our guest?
Well, I think the best way really is to let him introduce himself. Let us know, MCJ, moviecomicjunkie, what kind of projects you're working on, what kind of content you're doing. Just let us know what is up with you and where, and most importantly, where we can find you online so that our followers can follow you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. So I'm Movie Comic Junkie. I've mainly been operating, I'm like a content creator, mainly operating on TikTok. It's been honestly close to about a year now. I'm coming up on a couple months on a year. And yeah, so I talk about all kinds of fandoms, you know, nerd stuff. I love Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, just everything pretty much. And I'm on most social medias. If you just type in Movie Comic Junkie on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you'll find me. And yeah, so the kind of things I do is I talk about maybe like movies that come out, trailers, new comics. I love to do deep dives into lore of different fandoms, especially Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings and a lot of Marvel and DC stuff. And recently I've been doing a couple of different projects on stuff like versus battles, which I'm sure we're going to discuss today, and some other stuff on a little segment I called Mount Rushmores, which is essentially just, you know, 4 of the most iconic characters from different fandoms or different things. And yeah, so that's me.
That's
Right.
amazing.
That's
Before we
amazing.
get into all that, I have a really quick question for you and for everybody. What do you call a gnome in Levi pants? Levi's.
Knew Better Do Better.
You call it a jean gnome.
A G.
Oh, that was cute. I actually like that one. That was actually really dope. The genome. Oh, I get it. That one actually brought me joy. That brought a smile to my face.
Oh, yay! I'm glad I could do that for you
Let's
today.
move on as quickly from that joke as possible, though. Let's get into the real nitty-gritty of things. So my first encounter with MCJ was, you know, just going through TikTok, scrolling, and anytime I see somebody who has a real grasp of the Tolkien's writing and understanding of his works, and they're doing lore videos, or they're just doing a funny video, or they're just, what I'm saying, like doing a versus battle, I get really intrigued and interested, and I give them I make sure I give them a thorough follow, and I look through their channel and see other stuff that they're doing. And you were somebody that I was encapsulated with. I really like the stuff that you were doing. It's very similar to me, and so I really appreciated that, man. And I was like, oh man, this guy's dope. It's very much like Annex. And I just, I appreciate what you're doing and your understanding of the text and your interpretations of fights and everything like that. Because some people just say, oh, this person will beat this person. But why will they beat that person? How will they beat that person? You know what I'm saying? What are the circumstances? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? You know what I'm saying? Like, all those things are very important, and they contribute to a better versus battle on TikTok or whatever platform that we're on. So you do those things very well. You're very well spoken. You got a voice that encapsulates the people. So I want to just make sure and let everybody know that if you're not following MCJ, make sure you're following Movie Comic Junkie. He is awesome. He's dope. His content is great. And not only does he do Lord of the Rings, so he's high in my favor, which that doesn't mean anything. Who am I? But he does other fandoms, and he's like really like well-rounded, and that's what makes him so special. So shout out to you. Thank you for all that you're doing, brother. It's good to talk to you. Let's get into it, man. We've done lives a couple times together where you jumped in. I jumped in one of yours. Yeah. So I really appreciate you letting me in there and sharing the space with me, man. So yeah, man, dope. How did you get into doing lore videos and doing TikTok?
First of all, like, thank you so much. Like that little thing, that was amazing, man. That means a lot coming from you. But so how I started this, it was maybe about a yearish ago. I was just sort of just thinking, like, I love movies, I love TV, I love comics, I love these fandoms, and I'm like, why don't I just maybe say something about this? Like, let me just talk about it, see what happens. I wasn't expecting like people to actually, care too much about me or like what I say. But then, turns out quite a few people want to know what I say about these things. And I was like, this is awesome. And at first, I mainly started with it was comic stuff, so Marvel and DC. But then obviously Rings of Power came out, and I was like, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Lord of the Rings stuff is like popping off right now. Maybe I'll give this a shot. And I made one video where I was talking about like, a lot of Morgoth. I was talking about Morgoth and his like lieutenants and all the people in his army, and I was like, oh, Sauron, Gothmog, and Calagon, Glaurung, stuff like that. And people were like, whoa, this is awesome. Like there were loads of people who like read the books and things just coming into my comments like, oh, I love this, like this is my kind of stuff. And there were people who'd like never heard of this stuff before. They were like, this is so awesome. And I was like, I love this community. I'm like gonna do more of this stuff. And that's when obviously I jumped in one of your lives. I met you guys, I met Kali, people like that. And I've met so many amazing people, Belmont, people like that as well. It's been great. So yeah, so that's how I started out.
Shout out to Belmont, man. Belmont is my dude, man.
Belmont,
Speak to Belmont every single day, man. That's my boy, man. So if you're not following Belmont, make sure you go follow Belmont.
100%.
Absolutely expert Lord of the Rings content creator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's dope, man. So you say, hey, man, I want to talk about this stuff. I want to, get an outlet basically, and
yeah.
You found these different niches, with so many different things. That's what TikTok is so great about. So great, and you can. I like Lord of the Rings. I talk about Lord of the Rings. I also like anime. I have a page for anime stuff I talk about when I feel like talking about it. This is my main bread and butter here, so this is what I mostly do. But I appreciate that you're so multifaceted, and you're so articulate when you talk about these things. And you were saying that it turns out people wanted to hear you, brother. It means you got something special inside you that people want to see, they want to hear, they gravitate to. So never underestimate that, man. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, you don't get too cocky, you get a big head, you be humble, but you make sure you appreciate the talent that you are putting forth, man, because it's very necessary, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we've noticed and we gravitate to as well. So make sure you keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Yeah, that means
I know
a lot.
Kali got some questions.
I'm overflowing with questions. It's just a real honor to be sitting here with you.
No, don't say that.
I'm very interested in communities, and that is sort of my sort of thing with the Lord of the Rings. And so I'm curious to know, like, how you find the communities of the different fandoms. Are there a lot of similarities? Is there a lot of overlap? How does that work out for you?
Okay, so I'd say the Tolkien fandom on TikTok, the Tolkien Talk as it is, I've really, really enjoyed like incorporating myself in, because it's like it's almost all like really welcoming people. Like even if they've only watched the movies or they've only read the books or both, like they're all so welcoming, and it's been incredibly nice with Tolkien Talk. As opposed to honestly, some other fandoms can get like quite bad and like kind of toxic like especially like comic talk is not a great place sometimes, which is why honestly I've just like avoided versus battles with comic book characters, because I'm like, I don't want any of that kind of stuff.
People are so opinionated with that stuff, man.
Literally, so I'm like, I'm gonna leave that be. Like, so I stick with other fandoms mostly, and when it comes to like film stuff, because I'm obviously like I'm part of like another group with like people who just talk about films and movies and stuff like that. That's also great. And as for similarities, like obviously, like I said, they're all very welcoming communities, but also I like how like there's really this, like I said, there's a sense of like almost belonging when you join in with these other people from these different communities, like especially Talking Talk and Film Talk. Like you genuinely feel like you're part of this big family, and like you can talk about not just about the fandom, you can talk about anything with all of them. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could say so myself, we've built quite like like friendship family thing with with what we got going on here. Start with a few of us, and then all praise be to Kali, who like really built an infrastructure for all of us to be able to connect together, and we all like literally talk all the time, not only about Lord of the Rings, but personal stuff. We help each other out with things. We make sure we have each other's back, which is really important because in today's climate of today's society is going to be toxic no matter where you are. Even talking talk at times gets toxic, and people need other people to lean on and, to talk about things with and to confide in. And, they need help when they're getting attacked for whatever scenario. It might be Callie's a female. She gets attacked for that. Or, she's, a person of color. So she gets attacked for that. I'm a person of color. I get attacked for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just today's climate. And we got to help each other with that and let people know, hey, none of us are standing for it. And we come off the better. We come off the better for it. And no matter what it is, no matter what you're getting attacked about, is I'm speaking about personal issues that we've gone through, but we make sure the overarching experience that anybody have is, I promise you, is going to be excellent. It's going to be fun. It's going to be camaraderie. It's going to be just a positive experience, and you'll be able to like wave off those negative experiences and be like, those people are the minority of this place. This is not what this is about. This is not who these people represent. This is a small voice that's screaming into the void. And thanks to these friends in the community that I built, I can help drown them out. I can help silence them. I can help revoke them and rebuke them. And that's what it's all about, man. So we come together, and man, I hope that you feel welcome, and I hope that, what I'm saying, like, you found a place of friendship as well.
No, I absolutely have. Like, whenever I drop on the lives, like, even if it's for a little bit, I always feel like so welcomed by all of you guys. It's always so great. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. What else we got? What else? I know Callie's just chopping at the bit over here. She was talking about you doing a podcast with you for so long, and I've been having to like push podcasts back. I've been busy, or things have been happening and stuff like that. So I've not been able to be on it as much as I've liked to be. Even today, like I told you when we first got here, I'm not where I'm supposed to be doing the podcast. Usually I'm in, my room, and I got everything set up, and I'm on the road, and that's all right though. We doing it from the hood. Like I'm in Queens by the projects right now, like literally outside the projects in Queens doing the podcast, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, we just got to push through and persevere. So, Callie, I want you to get out all your questions. I want you to let this dude know how much he means to us in the community, and we want to find out as much as we can about him. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
So we've been talking so much about versus battles, and I'm just dying to hear you guys do one. Can we do one? Can we do one like now on episode?
You throw out some characters. You know what I'm saying? I'll pick one and he pick one, and then we could do it.
Yeah. So each of you pick a fighter.
All right. Like what race?
Yeah, from anything or like.
Yeah, let's just open it up.
How about this, Callie? MCJ, if you were going to pick a fighter to represent you from the Lord of the Rings, who would it be?
From Lord of the Rings. Okay. I don't obviously want a super overpowered one, because that would be too easy. I'm gonna go with. Do you know what? I really like Tuor.
Okay. Tuor is an excellent fighter. All right, so I'm gonna pick a man. You're gonna pick Tuor. I'm kind of reluctant to do this because I don't like this person, but I would pick his cousin. Turin. So Turin versus Tuor.
That's a versus battle I was planning on doing, actually. So we can run it right here. Okay.
So run it. Let's run it. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. So who you want to go first?
No. KnewBetta, you go first. I want to hear what you guys say about Turin.
I'm honored, sir. I'm honored. So Turin versus Tuor, both of the House of Hador. Also, they are both related to the House of Haleth as well on their mother's side. So they're going to be extremely strong, extremely warlike people. And Turin is going to be the son of Hurin, the greatest warrior of men who ever lived. So he has an advantage there. He has an advantage there. He also is the inheritor of the dragon helm of Dor Loman. So this helmet was made by Telkar of Nagrod. So he has a helmet that arrows bounce off of. It can't be swords don't do anything to it. It's crazy. So not only that, but he was raised in Doriath with Thingol, and he's also best friends with the March Warden, one of the March Wardens of Doriath. His name is Beleg Strongbow. So he went to war on the marches with Beleg Strongbow, who was one of the greatest elven warriors ever, it is stated. He also is trained by him, Mablong of the Heavy Hand. So his fighting prowess is going to be phenomenal. absolutely phenomenal. He also inherits the dread sword Anglerhill, which ends up, the name gets changed to the Gorthang, the Iron of Death, and we all know that the Black Sword. They name him the Mormogil. They name him the Black Sword. When they call you just the sword, they call you the Black Sword. That means you get busy. You get busy. His skill was so great in fighting. The elves didn't think he could die except by like mischance or like a stray arrow or some wild, crazy thing like this. We all know he's brave. He's faced Glaurung the dragon. He killed Mime the dwarf. He's literally had the entire. He freed Brethel. He freed. Trying to remember the place. All the western part of Doriath outside, he freed it from the tyranny of Morgoth's troops, and he's been in many battles, and he's really never really lost a fight. Like he's gotten ambushed, but this was when he was sleeping. So that's the only time he's like ever been really like captured like that. So I think Turin has a very good chance of winning. He also wears a dwarf mask that prevents fire from burning him, and he could stand up to Glaurung the dragon. So keep in mind that this man is no walk in the park. So tell me about Tuor.
Okay. First of all, the fact you chose Turin scares me a little bit because, like you said, Gurthang, like that thing can pretty much cleave all Earth Delve metals. It's gonna be a bit of a problem. Tuor, of course, is Turin's cousin. He's the son of Huor, and Huor was also another one of the greatest men. He was Hurin's brother. Huor and Hurin, of course, made it into Gondolin once, which is awesome for them. And Tuor is, I believe, one of, if not the tallest man of all time. I'm not completely sure about that stat, but he's incredibly tall. He's a great fighter, and he was actually sort of chosen by the Valar Ulmo to be sort of like a saving grace for the Noldor elves after the downfall of the likes of Nargothrond, and Gondolin was like the only great elven kingdom left in Beleriand at the time. So Tuor found his way into Gondolin and very quickly found his way into the service, he became renowned, and he became like well loved by the king of Gondolin, Turgon. Yes. And in fact, he then won the love of Turgon's daughter Idril, which actually pissed off Maeglin, who then went ahead and sort of dick move. He went and exposed the location of Gondolin to Morgoth, which unfortunately led to the end of that great kingdom. But during that time, Tuor did fight Maeglin, wielding the axe Dramborleg, also known as Thundersharp, and actually managed to beat him. Maeglin at the time was wielding. He was wielding Angurel, right? Was he? I can't remember. Was he wielding one of the two swords of Eol?
Yeah, he stole his father's sword. He had Angurel.
He did have Angurel. Yeah. So he was okay. If he went up against another one of his father's swords and managed to come out on top, then maybe he does stand a chance against Turin. But I would say Turin is probably a better fighter than Maeglin. So, And of course, yep, he defeated Maeglin, and then he escaped the city, after which him and Idril had a son who became Eärendil. And Eärendil the Blessed, of course, very important later on. And then Tuor eventually actually managed to win probably like one of the biggest, like one of the coolest things ever was this man was then allowed to go to Valinor and become essentially an elf, become immortal, which I think is super cool. So he's got the blessing of the Valar on his side, which is all I'm going to say. I think that gives him a little.
Dang.
Yeah. He has a good chance. So if we were going to talk about strengths and weaknesses, some of Turin's strengths and some of his weaknesses. So his strength is he's an excellent fighter. He's probably the second greatest fighter of all the men ever, behind his father. I got to put his father at number one. His deed is ridiculous. But having the Dragon Helmet Doloman is a great strength. Having the dwarf mask, the gilded dwarf mask, is super strength. Having Gorthang is a strength, but also was a weakness as well. The sword is cursed, and Turin himself is cursed. So his decision-making skills won't be the best. I'm not going to say his prowess in battle is necessarily affected by his decision-making skills, because he wins his fights, but it's just anything leading up to that or a decision like that is culpable with that is going to be a bad decision. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's not going to have people having his back. You know, people like automatically fall in love with Turin, but it always ends up in their downfall. So that's terrible as well. He's just he doesn't have confidence in himself in a certain way. You know, he's confident in his fighting, but not in everything else. So it's if Tuor could find a way to, like, you know, just have him look at himself in a certain light, like Glaurung did, then Turin's head would be out of the game. I can't see Tuor winning in a just straight up fight, but if he uses his brain and psychologically, like, psychs out Turin, you know, tells him about, hey man, you're cursed, man, you could never beat me. I think that would go against Turin, and Turin would second guess himself, and actually I think Tuor could pull it out. But if we're just talking about straight up skill hand to hand, Turin is just an overmatch, I think.
I would agree on that bit. Like, if we're talking straight like combat, Turin is the better fighter. I will give him that. Tuor he's tall, he's strong, he's fast. He's also a great fighter. But yeah, Turin is definitely better. Gurthang is a great advantage for him. It's obviously like possibly like the strongest sword in like in everything. It's an incredibly powerful weapon. However, like I did say, he has beaten Maeglin, who also had one of another swords, and he did manage to beat him. So that could be something. If it does come down to purely, you know, just combat, Turin's winning it. But yeah, like you said, like I think Tuor is definitely a smarter fighter than Turin is. Like he could find a way. Like if he played it right, he could find a psychological way to beat Turin, because of course Turin is cursed, but he's also very much like a Byronic hero in that he is fallible to his curses. He's like he had what's the right word? He sort of the curse itself makes him sort of not doubt himself, but it's sort of his downfall as well. In that
like
you
a
know,
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sort of, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So if we were to come out with a victor, I would say this. I wouldn't put it as clear cut as this person will win. I would put it, and a percentage wise, I think Turin would win maybe 65, 60% of the time.
I'd say more likely than not, yeah.
More likely than not, just pure skill. But if we were to keep replaying the battle, Tuor would have an advantage psychologically, and all he have to do is be able to, like, just psych him out. Hey, first of all, I'm your cousin. That'll make him absolutely, you know, second guess himself. Hey,
he doesn't have a thing for family.
How's your father? How's your, you know what I mean? How's your sister? How's your mom? You know what I'm saying? You those things play a factor. You know what I'm saying? If he had that information and he was talking crazy to him, you know, and also Olmo is on Tuor's side as well.
That's the thing. See, I was thinking, like, does this whole like divine thing come into it or not? Like in this, I left it out, but
we got to think about it. If the divine part of it, because Morgoth is divine whether you like him or not. It's an evil kind of divine.
Yeah,
he's cursed, so that comes into play. So absolutely, Olmo comes into play. I still like give Turin the edge, just hand to hand, but he's gonna pull out some wins. Like if we did the multiple times, it's not gonna be as straightforward as just only Turin just wins this. So I give it to Turin like 60, 65, 40.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I would have said that Turin would win more likely than not, but yeah, I guess if we are bringing the divine thing into it, Turin is cursed and Tuor is blessed. You know, I don't know. That could even help. That's like, because I did one which was like Tuor versus Beren, and in that one I also said that Tuor would probably win.
Yeah, Tuor is winning that.
But I feel like Beren's just got this drive though, that like whatever he sets his mind to, he will just do it. I've got that kind of impression from Beren.
Beren Girl does the heavy lifting, man, which is great. First of all, which is awesome. More power to her. Luthien is awesome and powerful, and she's the real muscle of that family. So all shout outs and praise be to Luthien, to Nubia. She's the one in the family that puts in the pain. We say Beren ass about 5 times, man. Step your game up, Beren.
I'm just waiting for that phrase, Beren is a bum. I hear that so much from KnewBetta.
Bum, man. Beren is not that guy. He's not that guy, bro. He's not that guy.
No, bro, put some respect on Beren's name, man. Like, the guy was like an outlaw. He was killing. He was messing up all the time.
He was putting in work, but I love to say this, and I love it. This is just one of my chances I get to shine. When Sauron pressed him, he had to flee. He got up out of there. He didn't want no smoke with that man, and he left. He didn't want the problem, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just understand. He's
Do you
dope.
reckon any man would have wanted that though?
No, no man, no man,
No.
no regular man.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
No man. The elves didn't want it. The elves are terrified of Sauron, and so it shows. Let me stop bringing it into my boy back there. I see you trying back there.
You
You
know,
know
if
what
we
I'm
let
saying?
KnewBetta go on about Sauron too long, he will
That was fun,
go
man.
down a deep
We should
rabbit
make like
hole.
we should make like a joint series, man, and do some versus battles, man. That would be awesome,
That would
man.
be great.
If you wouldn't mind collabing with little old KnewBetta, man.
Oh, give me that opportunity, man. Like anytime. You know I want that.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it, man. So,
That
Callie,
was
what else we got? What
amazing,
else we
you
got?
two. Like, I just love the logic that, like, how it all flows. How do you guys, and this is a question for both of you, like, how do you remember all of this stuff and just make it into like a nice cohesive little story with a bow wrapped on top? How do you take all the information? Because it's not like you guys just rambled off one chapter or one paragraph, right? You took information from all parts and all chapters, and you kind of like and appendices and all of that kind of stuff, and you weave them all together to make this cohesive story and to make these characters come alive for us. Like, how do you do that?
I have no clue how I do it. I even remember now. I wanted to say before Dimbar. Dimbar is the place where him and Beleg freed Dimbar, and I was like, because I hate that I didn't remember in this space. My mind just works like that. I'm just good at remembering things and organizing stuff in my head. I actually don't make scripts and don't write down when I do my versus battle. I literally
So,
just
yeah.
do them, and it's off the top of my head, and it's organized in my head, and it just is there. If I'm interested in somebody, I have a bit of a photographic memory where I could just recall on something that I really like. But if you ask me where the car keys are, I have no clue. My brain just works like that, and I'm glad to meet people whose brains either function similarly or also in a style to where it works for them, and then we have this wonderful content. So I'm sure Movie Comic Junkie has a cool way your brain works, because I really like hearing the way you put the stories together in your versus battles.
Yeah, so honestly, like it's pretty similar. So I sort of not completely, but like when I read something, I tend to remember it for like a long time. But obviously, before I do any of my versus battles, I always like make sure to go back and like make sure to research, because you never know when you get a point wrong. There's going to be someone in the comments coming after you about it. But yeah, so like I always double check to make sure like I've got all the information straight, and then like in my head. So I also don't use a script or anything, but like in my head, I've sort of got this structure where it's like first I introduce both characters. Then I give a little bit of background, like just a summary of like the main things they've done in their lives, then maybe like their abilities, their strengths and whatnot. And then, it's normally like, then who do I think would win? So yeah, I've got a structure in my head generally of how I'm going to run it.
Awesome. Same thing, man. I'll do the same format, man. So
yeah,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
exactly.
I am impressed, and I know that the fans are impressed as well. That is amazing, you two. To take a moment away from Lord of the Rings, just for a moment, MCJ, like what's your second favorite fandom? Do you have one?
Okay. Yeah, yes I do. Yes. So okay, this is a tricky question, right? Because the okay, it's not that tricky, but I just want to go into it a little bit. The very first thing I like ever loved as a kid was the TMNT, right? Because like my mum brought me this sticker book when I was like, I don't know, maybe 3-ish, and like ever since that, I've loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles so much. But obviously, as I've grown, I've enjoyed other fandoms, and Lord of the Rings will always have an emotional connection with me, like above anything else. But second, I'd say is probably Batman, DC, but specifically Batman. I am a fiend. Gotham City, Bruce Wayne, Nightwing, Batman, all of it. I love it to death. The Joker, everything. But yeah,
That's dope, man. That's dope.
mm-hmm.
That's really awesome, man.
That's pretty cool. Like, are you into Batman, KnewBetta?
I mean, I like Batman. I mean, he's not my like favorite superhero or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
but
who is?
I'm a big Marvel fan.
Okay.
My favorite superhero is Wolverine.
Dope.
Wolverine. I like Wolverine. I like the Hulk. I like Lobo from DC. He's my favorite DC character.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I like Lobo. I like a lot of bad guys. It's weird. I like Mongo. I like I like Superman, but I just think that they just make Superman too powerful. Like it's just they do it gets a little bit ridiculous. I like Black
Mm.
Adam a lot. Um, I like Green Lantern. I like the Green Lantern, John Stewart. Green Arrow's cool as well. Then I like Daredevil and Punisher and things like that. Um, I like Greek mythology. We already had an episode where I spoke about how much I
Oh,
like
I
Greek
love that.
mythology. Yeah, that's like my second favorite thing. And then anime, I'm big into anime. I like Naruto is my favorite anime.
Mm.
Watching One Piece almost caught up there. What I'm saying? I like Gurren Lagann. I like you know what I'm saying? I don't like Bleach. Let me put that out there right now. I don't like Bleach, but I do like Kenpachi. Kenpachi is that guy, but the Bleach, I can't really rock with it like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's a ton of animes, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, tons of things that are really cool, really well done. But Naruto absolutely is my favorite. The Raikage is my favorite character in Naruto. He is awesome. Raikage, Jiraiya, and Guy Sensei are my favorite characters out of that. So I'm saying so from time to time, I'll go on my other page and I'll do versus battles with anime and things like that. So
And
I
those get
okay.
really excitable.
Yeah, this might make you a bit mad. KnewBetta, this might make you a little bit mad. I do not like anime. Like,
hey,
I, as in like, oh, I'm just not a fan. So I've watched some though. Okay, like I've seen like animes that are more like, I don't want to say westernized, but like ones like, I don't know, Castlevania and stuff like that. And then
mhm.
I've seen the first season of Promised Neverland, and like I
I've
think I've
never seen that
seen
one.
yeah, and then I've seen, what was it? Oh, I've seen One Punch Man, but like I've never really liked any of the others. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like One Punch Man. I think it's just so much satire that it's not for me. Um,
yeah.
But the ones that you watched, I mean, I can't really speak on because I've never seen those ones. But I really like Clover is a new gen anime. Black Clover, My Hero Academia, those are new gen
Mm.
animes. It seems like you watched some newer off kilter ones. Like people have talking about Neverland and they like it, but I don't think that's for me. So I mean, I don't mind that you don't like anime. Everything different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, of
don't
course.
talk about a character that you don't like and that I like. Then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? And not just
Yeah, no,
different.
but I love mythology as well. Oh my, Greek mythology. Oh, mate, I feel like everyone went through that phase, right? But it was always like, it was the Percy Jackson books, right? So it was people like, I read Percy Jackson and I fell in love with Greek mythology. For me, it was like the other way around. Like, I read Greek mythology first and then I fell in love with Percy Jackson. And whenever I tell my friends, they're always so confused because they've always like read those books first and then fallen in love with the mythology, and like they don't understand how for me it was the other way around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. The people like even watching the Hercules movie, which I was watching the other day. They're doing a live action one, by the way. The myths are all over the place as far as with the adaptations and everything like that. But it's still fun seeing those things visualized on screen. So it's
Mm.
really fun watching it. Those stories are incredible. They're crazy. They're really violent. They're really so sensationalized that the Greek myths stand out so much. And the monsters
Yeah.
are crazy. The powers are ridiculous. I've done a couple of battles where I've had some.
Oh.
My wife keeps calling me, so
Sorry, yeah, what were you
so
saying? You've
I
done
was
some
saying,
versus battles, yeah.
yeah, I've done some versus battles against Lord of the Rings versus the Greek characters. So
Oh, I'd love
that's
to see that. Those sound actually really interesting.
I did
Yeah.
Tulkas versus Ares.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
that one's
dope.
quite tough. Who'd you have coming out on top?
I had Tulkas coming out on top because Ares is only like tough when he has the advantage. He's actually a coward.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's true.
he's actually,
And
he when he has it like that, he's a menace. But when it's not going his way, he runs and stuff. So
that's actually a very good point. I wouldn't have considered. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, that's true.
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I see that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think you'll MCJ do anything in the future for a versus battle with the Greek mythology and the Tolkien verse?
See, now that's gone in, like that's really gone in, sort of like sparked my interest. I'm like, I
I
could
can
totally
see your brain just like, you know,
I
like
know.
light up there. It's like,
I know,
oh,
I was like, so many possibilities.
he's
Oh,
getting
it's
ideas.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's cool because obviously, like, a lot of the Valar reflect a bunch of the Greek gods anyway. So, but I feel like a lot of those will be mirror battles. But you know, yeah, that's like that was like so awesome. I was suddenly like, whoa, that's like a whole new world that's opened up. I could do some stuff. But yeah,
MCJ, you keep talking about this love that you have for Tolkien and his works. How did that love get started, and how did you feed it to become everything that it is today?
funny story. The love started from fear, and I'll tell you what it was. I was maybe, I want to say maybe 9-ish years old when the Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King was playing. No, it wasn't. Yeah, no, it was Return of the King. It was playing on TV, and it was about halfway through when I caught a scene, and it was just after Frodo had escaped from Shelob, and Gollum attacks him, and I just saw Gollum, and as a 9-year-old, it terrified me. Like to my, I was so scared, and I was like, I can never watch this again. And he haunted my actual dreams for years. And then The Hobbit came out, and the day before The Hobbit came out, my year 6 teacher made us watch a bit of Lord of the Rings, like the first 10 minutes, and I was like, wow, this is really awesome. But Gollum's in it. And then like I had to find a way to be like, this story sounds so cool. Can I just firm it? And then I went to the cinema and I watched The Hobbit. Was actually the first thing I watched. And I watched The Hobbit and I was like, Gollum was in that as well. And I think I'm old enough now that he doesn't scare me as much. Let me go ahead and watch Lord of the Rings. And I watched it all and I was like, this is amazing. And then I was literally in year 6, which means I was like 11 years old. I was like, I want to read these books as well. And like I bought all 3 of them and just read them in I think maybe like 3 weeks straight. And I was like, I love this so much. And that so my love kind of started with a deep fear of Gollum. But yeah.
That's awesome. It's not awesome that you were scared of him, but it's awesome, man. That's awesome, and that's so dope how you transitioned, how you got over your fear, and it's become one of your loves, man. That's awesome, man. Awesome to hear.
Yeah. Now I love Gollum, so you know it's always a good thing.
I know he's a good character, man. One of my favorite. I don't know how you feel about it, but a lot of people, the Dead Marshes, that chapter, and how Gollum acts, especially specifically for me, how he hates the sun and the moonlight, and he shakes his fist at it. It's so descriptive in the book, and it's like it's so telling of his fear of being seen, of the torture he went through. Of he literally hates the sun. He's like, I hate you. It's like you're showing me to them. Like, I hate you. Like, leave me alone. Like, he hates it. And he calls it the yellow face, and it's awesome. And I wish they would have done a little more of that in the film to convey it, but it's awesome. It's just an awesome part. I really like Gollum in the story.
He's such an interesting character. I love all the depth to him. I think he's one of like the most like not just emotionally, but like thematically like deep and rich characters in like all of it. Definitively, yeah,
absolutely, yeah. You're kind of feeling different ways about him at different times, you know, and that's the telltale sign of a good character. You know, you're not just feeling one way. I don't just hate this person. Like I feel sorry for him. I'm actually like rooting for him, and sometimes I'm like, yo, man, I hope he turns good. I hope he's, like, then I'm like, I absolutely want him to burn in lava, and so it's like,
poor thing.
That's what happens to him.
Speaking of Gollum, he is having a very big feature, not a movie, but a game coming up. So what are you guys' thoughts? MCJ, you look like you're having some thoughts already on the game that's coming out. Let's hear them.
No, let's see what KnewBetta has to say about the game first before
from what I saw, I like it. I don't like his hair, but I like what's going on in the game. I hate his hairstyle, but other than that, the game looks really good. I love that the Mouth of Sauron seems to be the main antagonist. They're going to be the Nine, the Nazgul in there. The different backdrops and landscapes look dope. I like his, obviously it makes sense he's going to be sneaking around. I wonder how he's going to replenish his health. That's the interesting question. But it's going to be dope. No, not Limbus. No. It probably hurts him to, get Limbus.
It would hurt him, yeah. But, it would deplete his health.
maybe eggs or fish or babies. Hey, I'm just going off the text. Just going off the text.
You
know what
heard
I'm
right.
saying?
He said babies.
Craziness. This is what's he's Rob's cradles. What's in these cradles? Babies. So yeah, Golem is not a great guy, but yeah, man, I'm really excited to see it. I want to see him in Mirkwood. I want to see him in the Misty Mountains. I want to see him in if we can see him in Moria. I want to see him in I want to see him in the Dead Marshes. I want to see him on the Marches of Mordor, Kirith Ungol, Shelob's Lair. Rovanian itself is such a big place. The whole of Wilderland, he's up and down there. So he's going to Wilderland. He's going to be Lake Town. Esgaroth. He's going to be obviously at Dale. So he's going to be sneaking around all these places, and you have a ton of places to go and interact with and overhear really cool things. The references in the back are going to be really awesome. They could tie in actual events that happen. The combat system, I want to see what that's like. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be stealthy, but he's also got to be able to, got to be able to defend himself. So that should be interesting. So I'm excited. May 25th.
Okay. So for me, I started my life fearing Gollum, and I grew to love him, and I fear I'm going to hate him now in the future. But so this is just a question out to anyone who might be excited about this game. So imagine there's this huge, fantastical, amazing world like Lord of the Rings, which is magical and amazing, and you get to play as one protagonist. Like, would you choose a squirmy like squirrely little creep to be your main character? Like, me personally, no. Like, I don't know why. Like, I like the idea, but like Gollum as the main character, I don't know. And besides that, like, I would still play it, but like I saw those first trailers, and my God, those graphics look rough. Hey, that looks like PS1 gameplay graphics. I was not a fan. Is that meant to be for next gen like consoles? No, thank you.
Yeah, I think more I think Golem's graphics look more worse off than some of the other graphics. But I mean, if those are not that's not the final depiction of the game. It was, I don't know, but I mean, it looks good enough to play for on my end. But to each their own. I know everybody has a different preferences of what the game's gonna look like, feel like to them. You like, I like that's important. That I'm somebody who's like, oh, I like the idea that I'm gonna be sneaking around and being Gollum and like doing it that way, as opposed to maybe playing an Aragorn game where I'm just hacking, slashing, and whatever. But then you're like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to be Gollum? I would rather be somebody a great hero to do it, this, that, and the third, which makes sense because our differences of opinions are important.
Yeah,
and
of course.
you know what I'm saying? So that's cool, different perspective, and I understand why you feel that way as well. So cool.
No, like I would like to say, like I definitely would play the game. It's just like I mean, I will play the game regardless. But I mean, like at the minute, I don't think the graphics look as like good as I would like them to be. I'd still play a Gollum game, but like yeah, obviously I'd prefer like those Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor games. I was a big fan of those. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So before I get out of here, because I got to go soon, I got to go get my son. I got questions for you. So if you could, anybody in the entire Tolkien Legendaria, if you could pick someone to marry, who would it be? If you could pick someone to protect you, who would it be? And if you could pick someone you had to fight or wanted to fight, who would that be?
Okay. Marry. I'm gonna go Galadriel. I have the most unbelievably fat crush on her. Like, mate, I bro. Like, all I'm saying is like, in a heartbeat, I'm marrying Galadriel. And she's powerful. Like, my God, like she's a great she's a great like sorceress, a magic user, and like she's radiant and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop before I like ramble on about her for hours.
So you have given your love to the evening, is that?
I have. So what was the second one? So to marry and then
he just shorted out his brain. He's like, marry Galadriel, marry Galadriel. So the next one is who you would choose to protect you.
To protect me. honestly, Galadriel too. No, I'm kidding.
It can
protect
be.
me, I'd
We had
go
someone do
with-
all three for this same person, but
No, to protect me, I'm going to go with is from the entire Legendarium. I want Beleg.
good choice. Good choice.
This lady's backing
I
up
would
and
love
like
for it
she's
to be
gonna hit my
Beleg.
car, and it's hilarious. She can't drive. There's a driveway right there. She can literally back up into this driveway and go about her way. But she's so bad at driving. That's why I hate coming to the city sometimes. Because these people, this is craziness. Back into the driveway and then go whatever direction you choose to go. But no, that's not what's happening right now. She's almost hitting my car. I know you heard me beep the horn, but I had to get that out because it was. I know they're gonna see my face on this podcast and I'm like, what is KnewBetta doing? Why is he reacting like this? Because ladies can't drive. Not women in general, but that particular lady just couldn't drive. Anyway, Beleg Strongbow is one of my favorite elves. So
Yep.
he is that guy. So absolutely. I think that's dope that you gonna have him fight for you.
Yeah, man, the land
Great
of bow and
protector.
helm. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And then the final one was,
Who were you fighting?
who would I fight? Do you know what? I reckon I could knock out Rosie Cotton
Oh,
fairly easily. I reckon.
Ruthless. Homeboy is ruthless, man.
I mean, realistically, I feel like 95% of the people I choose could just like destroy me in 5 seconds. So I had to choose someone who I stood a chance against. You know.
Hey, man. What's fair is fair, man.
Hey, yo, like the question was asked. Like, it's nothing personal. You know, like I don't exactly want Sam on my back, to be fair, but you know, like.
I got you.
That was phenomenal. That was a great answer, MCJ. Thank you for that wonderful image that I have in my head
Thank you,
now.
man. Thank you for your 3 picks, man. Galadriel, we got Beleg Strongbow, and then we have Rosie Cotton, which is probably the greatest answer we've ever gotten in the. No, it's definitely the greatest answer we've ever gotten. So all hail MCJ, because he's got the greatest. He has the coup de grace, the best answer by far of who somebody wants to fight. Rosie Cotton. Wow.
Wow. All right. Well, speaking of our beautiful, flowery Rosie Cotton, I will bring us to the self-care tips for this week so that we can wrap up and head on with our day. So it is spring, and I have some self-care ideas for you. Number 1 would be to start a garden if you can, even if it's just like a small little balcony one. Just being able to plant a plant and watch it thrive and grow is very nurturing for both the plant and yourself, your soul. Tip number 2, plan meals with spring's new produce. Tip number 3, do a closet clean out. Tip number 4, and I feel like this one is on every week's segment, but I'm going to say it again, is to treat yourself. Tip number 5, get outside. Tip number 6, bring the outside inside by like filling your home with flowers or bright things from outside that, you know, make you think of spring. And the last tip for spring is to take a break from social media and really, again, just this is all about getting out there and enjoying the beautiful weather. So I hope that you all get a chance to do that sometime soon.
All right, man. Great tips, man. Great tips, and it's been a great time talking to you. We got to get together again. We'll get another time where we can talk longer.
Yes, please. Yeah.
But freaking obligations in life. But I had a blast, man. I'm really proud of you and your content. Keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, if you guys haven't followed Movie Comic Junkie, please do so. He's awesome. Content is awesome, and we're gonna definitely do a collab soon, man. So keep
Yes,
doing what
we
you're
are.
doing. Yeah, man, absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
man.
No, thank you so
just
much for
tell
having
us
me.
again.
Honestly, thank you so much. It's honestly been so great. Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. It's an honor and a pleasure. Please tell us once again your socials or where we can find you. So Everyone can know.
So yeah, so I'm Movie Comic Junkie, primarily on TikTok. Just type in Movie Comic Junkie. I'm also on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah.
All right, all right. So with that, we are gonna get out of here and get we'll be back again with another episode very, very soon. We're gonna get more focused and on the ball there. Kali's been on my neck like she's like the little angel on my shoulder. But thank you so much, man. I gotta get out of here, but we will talk again soon. Kali, I'll talk to you later. And thank you for being a guest.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.